She saw the signs. Not once. Not twice. Over and over again. But every time something felt off, she told herself the same thing. It's not that serious. I'm probably overthinking. It'll work itself out. Until one night, she opened her bank app, and everything stopped. $0. That was the moment it finally hit her. Not when she sent the first transfer. Not when the excuses started. Not even when the pressure began to build. But right there, staring at a number that couldn't lie anymore. She didn't lose her money in one big mistake. She lost it slowly, quietly, one ignored red flag at a time. And the truth is, if you're watching this, there's a good chance you've felt something like this too. Not the exact same story, but that feeling, that quiet voice in your head that says, something isn't right. And instead of stopping, you keep going. Today, we're not just talking about what happened to her. We're talking about why people ignore red flags, especially when money is involved. Because this isn't about being careless. It's about something deeper. Let's call her Emily. Emily wasn't reckless. She wasn't irresponsible. She was the kind of person everyone trusted. Hardworking. Dependable. Always there when people needed her. She had a steady job. Paid her bills on time. Tried to save when she could. But Emily had one problem. She didn't know how to say no. Not to people she cared about. Not when someone said they needed help. And definitely not when emotions were involved. That's where it started. Not with a big decision. Just a small one. It was just a text. Hey, I'm in a tough spot right now. Can you help me with $200? I'll pay you back in a few days. Nothing dramatic. No warning signs, at least not obvious ones. Just urgency. And trust. Emily didn't hesitate. She sent the money. Because that's what good people do, right? They help. A few days passed. No repayment. But there was an explanation. Something came up. I promise I'll get it back to you soon. Emily paused. Just for a second. That small feeling. That slight discomfort. That was the first red flag. But it didn't feel like a red flag. It felt like empathy. So she ignored it. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into another request. This time, $500. And this time, she hesitated. Not because she couldn't help, but because something didn't feel right. Still, she sent it. Because saying no felt worse. Because what if he really needed it? Because she didn't want to be the kind of person who lets people down. And just like that, a pattern was created. Money, excuse, delay, repeat. Here's what's really happening in moments like this. It's not that Emily didn't understand money. It's that she valued the relationship more than the risk. She wasn't thinking, this is a bad financial decision. She was thinking, this is someone I care about. And those two things don't feel the same. That's why red flags are dangerous. They don't look like danger. They look like situations you can handle. Months passed. The numbers got bigger. $1, 000, $1, 500. At some point, Emily stopped asking when she'd be paid back. Because asking started to feel uncomfortable. And silence felt easier. But something else started happening. Her money was disappearing faster than it came in. Bills felt tighter. Savings stopped growing. Then slowly, they started shrinking. At this point, the signs were everywhere. There was always a new emergency. There was never a real solution. Conversations got avoided. Promises were made, but never kept. And the biggest one? Emily started feeling anxious every time her phone lit up. Because deep down, she already knew. Another request. Here's the truth most people miss. Emily wasn't blind. She saw it. She felt it. Every single time. That hesitation. That tension. That quiet voice saying, "This isn't right." But she didn't listen. Because listening meant having an uncomfortable conversation, possibly losing the relationship, facing the truth. And for her, that felt worse than losing money. Then one day, it happened. Rent was due. Her account was low. She opened her banking app, paused, refreshed, looked again. $0. No backup. No safety net. Nothing. And for the first time, there was no one to turn to, because the person she had been helping was gone. Calls ignored. Messages left on read. No explanation. No apology. Nothing. That's when it hit her. Not just the loss of money, but the reality of everything. The trust, the time, the emotional energy. All gone. And the worst part? She saw it coming. Every red flag. Every excuse. Every moment she chose to ignore what she felt. It was all there. This is where it gets real. Because Emily's story isn't rare. It happens all the time. And not just with money. Your brain is wired to avoid discomfort. So when something feels off, instead of confronting it, you delay. You justify. You tell yourself, "It's not that bad. I'll deal with it later. It'll fix itself." Because facing it feels heavier in the moment. But here's the truth. What feels easier now becomes more expensive later. Every ignored red flag adds up. Not just financially, but mentally. Because the longer you ignore something, the harder it becomes to face it. Emily didn't lose everything in one decision. She lost it in dozens of small decisions. Moments of hesitation she ignored. Times she chose comfort over clarity. But here's where everything changes. Not when the money disappears, but when the truth becomes unavoidable. Emily sat there. No distractions. No excuses. Just reality. And for the first time, she didn't run from it. She stayed. She looked at the number. And instead of saying, "I'm stupid," she said, "Something has to change." That moment? That's where power begins. She didn't magically fix everything overnight. She started small. She looked at her finances honestly. She stopped sending money. She set boundaries. She allowed herself to feel uncomfortable, without running from it. And slowly, things started to shift. It wasn't instant. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. Step by step, she rebuilt. Not just her money, but her awareness, her boundaries, her self-respect. Here's the truth. Red flags don't destroy your life. Ignoring them does. And ignoring them doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But staying in that cycle? That's a choice. If this felt familiar, that's not random. That's awareness. And awareness is where change begins. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need everything figured out. You just need to be honest. So after this video, do one thing. Open your bank app. Look at the number. No judgment. No panic. Just look. Because the moment you stop avoiding is the moment things start changing. If this resonated with you, drop a comment, even just one word. And if you know someone who needs this, send it to them. Not as advice, as care. See you in the next one.